What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ivan Herrera Show. Welcome, one and all. We're doing a mock draft episode today. We have Dynasty Startup mock draft happening. Should be a good time. Really excited for what we're going to get to do today as well. A lot of good things that are going to be coming from this live stream. And ideally, what I want to do is I want to prepare you by giving you as much information on what the landscape looks like. So this mock draft is a 12-team Dynasty 2-quarterback tight end premium league. Again, a mouthful like last time. And yeah, we are up and running. We are live here. So what we'll do is I'm going to show you guys the board real quick. This is our draft board that we're going to be utilizing. We have 12 teams. I put the information in the Discord. So if you're looking to join, by all means, please declare a spot and we will rock and roll. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a good time here as well. Let me just go ahead and press one more thing. And we're now up and running. So, okay, do me a favor. If you are tuning in right now, shoot me a like on the stream. It goes a long way with pushing us to the algorithm. So here's the layout. I got 12 teams. I got already 4 guys here in here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. That way we can get up and running. I'll provide some commentary. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be picking out of the 7th spot. So I'm picking right in the middle. The first mock draft we did together, I was picking from the 11th, which is cool because you get kind of 2 back-to-back picks pretty close there. But what I want to do is I want to do a different slot so that way you guys can see my approach, see what kind of players are available, and how we can leverage, no matter where we're at in the draft, to build out a really solid team. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start the draft. And looks like we got, oh, cool. I got one more guy on here. We got Jesus who joined. And let me go ahead and start the draft. And we will rock and roll. So what's going to happen is the CPU is going to go ahead and then let me just kill the sound because I know last time was a little bit disturbing. So what I will do is here we go. So we see Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and team 6 went with Justin Jefferson. And now I'm up, and it's not hard to see why all these quarterbacks go. It's a SuperFlex league. So to no surprise, you see 5 quarterbacks to kick things off to then now lead to myself, which leaves me with the option of CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. Now, because of how long it's going to take for me to get my second pick, what I want to lean on is potentially go for Joe Burrow or even Caleb Williams. But of course, there's some pretty good wide receivers here. I'm going to go ahead and lean on Joe Burrow just because this is a super flex. So I'm going to open it up with Joe Burrow on my team. So we'll see what happens next with the following picks, and I'll recap. And again, the reason why I want to go with quarterback is because I want to get an elite one. This is a super flex, which means my starting roster, when I go here, you'll see features 2 quarterbacks that are going to be featured. So I want to get as much points as possible. And here, a quick recap. You now see right here, Jason went with CeeDee Lamb. Then we see Caleb Williams go at the 9th. Then we see Anthony Richardson, Jamar Chase, and now Cole is up for a pick to close out the first round. And then we'll have a pick to open up the second. And what I highly recommend, because there are so many rounds in a rookie startup for any kind of dynasty format, I highly recommend doing the 3rd round reversal. So the way it works is you'll see that Cole will have 2 back-to-back picks here. And ideally, you'll get 2 back-to-back picks right over here when you're at the end of the 2nd round. However, we're going to have it reverse and kick back over here to kick off the 3rd round. So let's see who Cole goes with. And he goes with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So he gets an elite wide receiver there. And I wouldn't look at you sideways if you kicked off your draft with elite wide receivers. So like, for example, we see team 11 went with Jamar Chase and Marvin Harrison Jr. You have a top 5 wide receiver with Jamar Chase, and you have a top prospect at the wide receiver position with Marvin Harrison. And after that, we see our first running back go off the board as well with Bijan to kick off the 2nd round. And then we see Jahmyr Gibbs follow up the Marvin Harrison pick there as well. And there are many different approaches when it comes to drafting running backs. When it comes to dynasty startups, I tend to push them a little bit farther down. So I won't probably consider a running back until probably the 6th to 7th round range, especially in a tight end premium where I can utilize an elite tight end early on. But again, you don't want to overreach. So we'll see how this plays out. So we see Cheese Whiz right here goes for Kyler Murray. And to be honest with you, that was one of the guys I was looking for. And then we see Jason get Jordan Love. So now we look at the landscape here, and I already got Joe Burrow. I see Christian McCaffrey here, Brees Hall, Justin Herbert, you see Puka Shells, and Garrett Wilson. So a few of these picks I have yet to have because I've been picking out of the 11th at the turn. So what I want to mix it up. So I have seen Christian McCaffrey fall to me. I would love to get 2 straight quarterbacks here, but I don't want to really drop down a little bit to reach for one. Not that Justin Herbert would be a reach, but my concerns are that the offense in Los Angeles could be a little stale because of the run heaviness that Harbaugh tends to run his offenses. So I'm going to go ahead and, I've yet to try having Brees Hall. So I'm going to go ahead and get Brees. No, I want to get Puka Shells. So there we go. I'm going to get Puka Nakua. And then after that, we see Brees Hall go. Then we see Team 5 take Justin Herbert with a double stack at quarterback with Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. We see Team 4 get Jonathan Taylor to go along with Jalen Hurts. And then now you see right here, after we see Garrett Wilson, we see Sam Laporta, Christian McCaffrey, and instead of it going back to back right over here, it kicks up to the top right over here, rather to the bottom at 3.1, beginning with Team 12, which in this case is Cole. So he's up for next pick. And if I had to guess, he could go wide receiver, rather not wide receiver. He could go quarterback here, or he can go 0 QB, which is a thing as well. This is where you then go for like a veteran much later. So far, let me see. If we're looking at my roster, I like that I got a good quarterback. I love that I have my wide receiver that has been proven after a really good rookie year. And okay, now we see, hold on, let's go ahead and recap it. We see Tyreek Hill go. So now this team 10 has Anthony Richardson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Tyreek Hill. So we'll see how this continues to map out. And again, if you are here tuning in, really appreciate you guys being part of the stream. Let me see. Let's also answer some of these comments too while we're waiting. So Eddie says, I've been seeing Justin Herbert go really, really late in startup drafts. He could be a big value this season. And I couldn't agree anymore, just because I know that people have reservations because of, number one, the lack of weapons there. I know that they drafted, I was going to say Luke McCaffrey, but McConkey. Yeah, is it McConkey? I don't know why I'm drawing blank because I'm live and now I'm having brain farts. But anyways, the point is, yeah, they're really stale on their offense as far as weapons go after losing Keenan Allen and, of course, Mike Williams and Austin Eckler. So it's easy to be a little reserved there. Okay, so let me see. So now my landscape looks like I have Jaden Daniels available, Chris Olave, Travis Etienne. I'm not too happy with the options there. But you know what? I think that Chris Olave is a little bit underrated, so I'm going to go ahead and get Chris Olave here. And then we see Jaden Daniels go, then following up with a pair of running backs with Saquon Barkley and Travis Etienne. And then we'll see what Devil Dog ends up going with. But again, if you guys are tuning in, thank you so much for being here. Please drop a like to support the channel. Really means a long way. And if you're not already subscribed, by all means, please subscribe. Be a part of the family here. So here we go. Let's go ahead and catch you guys up. So now we got Drake London off the board there to go along with Doc Prescott, Kyron Williams, Ramadunze, Jalen Waddle, and we'll see what Mr. David goes next. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that Doc Prescott would fall to me right over there. But now we see Brock Bowers go. That's the second tight end that goes off the board. Devon Achane, Devontae Smith. And you know what? I feel pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get myself Tua Tagovailoa in this case, just so I can now solidify my quarterback situation. He's in a high-powered offense. He has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle there. I know they added OBJ, but this offense is a good one, a very fantasy-friendly one with some weapons that can really make an impact. So I feel really good with my build so far with Joe Burrow, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave, and Tua Tagovailoa. So shortly after that pick, we see Nico Collins go. And Nico Collins worries me a little bit, only just because you have Stephon Diggs there. Tank Dell obviously is going to be fantastic. And what worries me is how is that offense going to split all those targets up? Okay, let's go ahead and continue here. We see Dalton Kincaid go. Brock Purdy follows that up. And then we see Trey McBride go at the 4-11. And then we have Cole coming up with 2 straight picks, one to close up the 4th and one to open up the 5th round. So we'll see how this maps out. He goes, there you go, he goes for now his second quarterback. He gets Jared Goff, and now he's up for a pick to open up our 5th round. So as that's happening, I'm just looking to see, okay, who's available now and what are the teams looking like right after me. So, for example, I'm not in a situation to get a quarterback, so I'm good here. However, I'm looking and seeing that there's a lot of running backs that we're taking here as well as wide receivers. So I may want to consider going maybe for a tight end to mix things up. And we'll see what it looks like right now. So now that I'm up, I see that Josh Jacobs is available. I see Rashad White, Travis Kelsey, Kyle Pitts, JJ McCarthy. So being that I don't have a running back just yet, and it's going to be quite a ways until I get another one, being that I'm assuming that Josh Jacobs will go, same with Rashad White. I've yet to have a roster that has Isaiah Pacheco. And the reason why I'm going to draft him there is because I think he's a little underrated. And I think that the identity of the Chiefs right now, especially after what we saw last year, is more of a run heavier team that is going to really rely on that good defense that they have. Not saying that you're not going to get much value if you went with a pass catcher in this offense, but the identity of this team shifted a little bit where you can see that Pacheco had a bigger role and played a big part of that offense last season. Okay, so after my Pacheco pick, we now see Josh Jacobs, Rashad White, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelsey, T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts. Then we followed up with 2 straight wide receivers with George Pickens, Tank Dell, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Brooks, Jordan Addison, and DK Metcalf. So we'll see what's up here. And you know what? This is really exciting. I'm really happy that this guy's here because I'm not reaching for a tight end. It felt to me, and this is actually one thing I was hoping for. And this team is going to feature now Mark Andrews. And a guy that I was looking forward to that actually fell in the draft a little bit was Trey McBride. I've been seeing McBride go like shortly after the second round. So in that early third, after Sam Laporta gets drafted, which is what we saw here in the second. And I've usually seen Trey McBride not able to make it back on this turn for me. And of course, it's not hard to see why, being that he had such a good year last year and should be getting a lot of those vacated targets now that Zach Ertz is out of that offense. So shortly after the Mark Andrews pick I made, we see TJ Hawkinson go. And I like TJ Hawkinson. He was on pace for a phenomenal season there last year. What does concern me about TJ Hawkinson, though, only this season, only because I believe that he could get better, is just the fact that he's coming off a major knee injury. So that's why I've had reservations in drafting him. I actually made a trade because I had him on my roster and I was able to trade him in one of my dynasty leagues. But okay, so now we see 3 straight wide receivers go off the board. We see Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, and we see Rashee Rice. And now we'll have Cole kick us off with 2 straight picks, and he goes with JJ McCarthy, Brian Thomas, and then shortly after that, we see McConkey and Devontae Adams, and we'll see what Jesus goes with. And so far, let me know, guys, what teams so far are intriguing you here. So let's actually recap real fast. So I see that Cole has St. Brown, Bijan, Lawrence, Goff, DJ Moore, Brian Thomas. I mean, I love the stack here with Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas. Team 11 went really heavy with wide receivers with Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison Jr., AJ Brown, Trey McBride, James Cook, Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams. And now I'm up here and I'm looking at the landscape. I could solidify because I've yet to get this guy in my other leagues too. I'm going to get, because I'm not seeing any running backs I'm really crazy about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and same with the wide receivers because I like JSN. A little worried there about Lockett. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself Bryce Young just because I believe he could be a good value. I know I try not to get too hyped about what happens in the training camp reports, but there were some good reports that Bryce Young has been flourishing in training camp. And being that he's in the 7th round, he could be a good upside pick for me there. Considering that, of course, there's always injury concerns when you look at Joe Burrow and, of course, with Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, well, let's see. After my Bryce Young pick, we see Jalen Reed go, JSN, Keon Coleman, and then now we have David up for a pick. Okay, let's go ahead and keep on recapping these teams. See what Jason has. He has CeeDee Lamb, who could be a phenomenal pick, being that he's going to be the only guy really getting much targets there in Dallas. So you see CeeDee Lamb, Jordan Love, who took a huge leap last season, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Drake May, TJ Hawkinson, and then, of course, King Henry, which is a good pick up there in the 7th round, being that he should be getting some good success there in that Baltimore offense. Okay, and then after that, we see, let's go ahead and see what happens here. So after the Joe Mixon pick, we see Benson, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Javonte Williams, Kirk Cousins goes, Alvin Kamara, George Kittle, Baker Mayfield, and now I am up here at the 807. And I'm just looking because I want to potentially get a stack here, but I believe If I'm looking at it, I could still get this player later. Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like I can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually draft. I haven't got this guy, so it's cool that I'm picking out of this 7th pick because I haven't had some of these picks. So I'm gonna go and get myself David Montgomery because David Montgomery filled in phenomenally for Jamal Williams last season. Got a lot of targets. Is the all-purpose back there in that offense. So I think someone that is going to flourish, being that they kept their offensive coordinator as well. So good things I'm expecting from from David Montgomery there on my roster to be my second RB. We're going to move the screen up a little bit, and then we see Najee Harris, Matthew Stafford, Zamir White, Deshaun Watson, and we will get 2 straight picks from Cole. And again, this is the range where I start to really dabble with the running backs, and that's only because I got 2 really solid wide receivers, and as always, the wide receivers tend to be really deep positions. So this is just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. This is a 15 round draft, so typically you'll see startups around the 20 range as well, but this is just 15 just so we can get something done really quick, and that way I can also pick out of a different slot than I did last time, which was I was picking out of the 11th. So, okay, we see that Najee goes, and there's been reports about how he's finally gotten in shape. He's lost weight. Waited till year 4 to do it, I guess, when the team didn't decide to exercise his contract. And then we see Matthew Stafford goes. Zamir White, I think, is a good pick up there as well. Deshaun Watson, David Njoku, Terry McLaurin, Pollard, and then we see Amari Cooper go at the 903. So good stuff so far. Then we have Jesus up. And let's see his roster. Jesus has Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Ayuk, Kincaid, Zay Flowers, Stephon Diggs, Ramondre Stevenson, who I like there. It's a good pick up there. Matthew Stafford, and Jake Ferguson. Okay, now I'm up here. So David Montgomery. Okay, there's actually a player that I was looking for. So one that I really like a lot is actually Chris Godwin. I think he's a little bit underrated. I have to get myself Bryce Young. I'm trying to see. I think this other player I want is going to fall to me later. And I really want to start to bolster up my wide receiver room a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flyer here and go for my first rookie. Like usually around the 9th round in a startup is when I start to want to look for upside or start to really leverage some good stocks. So in this case, I want to go with Xavier Legette, and I'm really happy he's there so that way I can pair him up with Bryce Young. So then shortly after that, we see Evan Ingram, Tajee Spears, and now we see Bo Nix off the board as well. And this is the second quarterback for Team 4. Let's look at this right now. I like Team 6. Of course, they're swinging for the fences with Jaden Daniels as their QB1, and then they get themselves a solidified veteran there with Baker Mayfield after a career year last year. Okay, so after the Bo Nix pick at the 909, we see Jalen Warren go at the 910, Chris Godwin at the 911, Will Levis at 912, and then immediately gets Calvin Ridley. That's a good stack there. Cole Kmet, Hollywood Brown, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Christian Kirk, and yep, there. I want to get myself. Oh yeah, here he is. So I like, just like I said, I like getting myself some rookies in this range or some high upside players. And there's 2 of them that I'm really looking forward to right now, and that's Adonai Mitchell as well as Deontay Johnson. And I know I typically have a rule where I don't like to get 2 of the same player from the same team. So just for that case, I'm going to go ahead and draft myself Adonai Mitchell, who I believe will vacate that wide receiver 2 role in Indianapolis. And of course, is always concerned about how they're going to utilize Anthony Richardson this season, being that, of course, last year he had a few injury concerns because of the ability that he has with running the football out of the backfield. But I'm going to go ahead and swing for the fences a little bit here, get myself another young player. And as you can see here, my team looks relatively young. I mean, the main veterans here are David Montgomery, and of course, Joe Burrow as well, and of course, Chris Olave, and Puka is only in his 2nd season. So I have a very young team here. And then shortly after, we see Deontay Johnson go. So someone I was contemplating. Got off the board, Christian Watson. Then we see Blake Corum, Michael Penix Jr. That's an interesting pick for Team 11 because Penix is going to be behind Kirk Cousins for at least a year or 2. It's very interesting there. Okay, so shortly after that, we see James Conner and Brian Robinson go with Keenan Allen shortly following after. And then we see Austin Eckler. So we see a pair of Washington running backs go out. And then we'll see what Jesus gets now with his next pick. So he got himself 2 tight ends, 2 solid ones. Obviously, Kincaid and Buffalo should get more targets there, especially with Stephon Diggs' departure. We see Zach Moss. That's a good pickup too. Someone who's going to get the Joe Mixon role. he also did pretty good too. I think people forget how good Zach Moss was when he was filling in for Jonathan Taylor last season as well. So we got a few rounds left. This was a very quick one, which is great because I wanted to do a quick little fun reaction mock draft, and I wanted to pick out of the 7th. I picked out of the 11th. I'll tag the first video. You can actually look at it on my channel where I picked out of the 11th spots. Okay, cool. We see Justin Fields go. So let me see. Cool. This is great. Actually, there's a player here I like to. Let me see. I already have my 4 wide receivers, 2 running backs. I don't see anyone that really excites me here in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and get my second tight end, and I'm going to get Dallas Goedert. And for him to be my second one, being that I have Mark Andrews as my first, I feel really good about that because, of course, with Philadelphia, they have so many mouths to feed there. We have A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. Of course, they just signed Saquon Barkley in the offseason. So Dallas Goedert, someone who obviously is talented, but is going to be at least, third or fourth fiddle in that passing game. So, okay, let's go ahead and catch you guys up. So we see Zach Charbonnet go, Jameson Williams, Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, Troy Franklin, Pat Fryermuth, Jalen Polk, Joshua Downs, and we'll see what David goes with next. And right now, just like I said, during this range, I'm now looking for upside. I'm looking for either upside, and maybe I can get myself a handcuff for any of my players or like the second option on someone on the same offense. But right here, I typically like to get some rookies or some second-year players on my radar. And one that I'm seeing that I'm liking right now is actually Jahan Dotson. I feel like we were anticipating more last year. I think he still could get some good options here. But I also see someone that I like, which is Roman Wilson. But I'm going to lean and go with my gut and take Jahan Dotson. All right. Then we see Hunter Henry go. There's a couple players I'm seeing that I could get. Let's see if they make it. I don't want to say it because Cole so far has not sniped me. This guy sniped me really good in our first mock draft. So that's why I'm being a little bit reluctant, but so far so good. I haven't had too many misses on this front, but yeah, this team looks a little bit different than what I'm accustomed to. But what do you guys think? I mean, Joe Burrow there. Let me see. Got a comment here from Eddie. It says, what are the order of Packers receivers you want in Dynasty? It's funny. Me and this guy that you see here, Cheese Whiz, he's a huge Packers fan. That's my good buddy Jesus. Ah, dang it. See, I jinxed it. I wanted to get Marshawn Lloyd, and Cole got him. I shouldn't have even said it. See, I knew that was going to happen. But anyways, the point is, to answer the question though, Eddie, if I had to choose wide receivers, I know that Jalen Reed is actually getting drafted really high. So in this case, he went in the 7th round. And I'm not too mad at that, but I just feel like he was just a beneficiary of positive touchdown regression, rather positive touchdowns. He had a good amount. So I expect the regression this upcoming season. But there's a wide receiver in that room. And I know that Christian Watson is someone that has had some concerns with injury. So I'm a little bit worried about him. And I do like Romeo Doubs where he's going. So if I had to place an order on it, it's still going to be Jalen Reed. Second, I would go with, I like Romeo Doubs better for the value. But here, let me make my pick real quick. See Gus Edwards. So I feel like I'm really compromised at the running back position. And I'm okay with it. So let me go ahead and continue building my team here. I have 3 picks left. So let me go ahead and go with, where is he? Yeah, there he is. Gotta get Malachi Corley. There we go. So yeah, if I had to put the order of Packers wide receivers I would want to get, it'd be Jaden Reed, but I wouldn't want to overspend on him. Romeo Doubs second, and then Christian Watson. Only because I get concerned about the injuries, and I know that who's the other kid? Is it Hicks or Wicks? He's also pretty good too. He's someone that could also have a good season as well. But yeah, very good question. Really do appreciate it. Okay, so after I made my Malachi Corley pick, we see Isaiah Likely, Khalil Shakir, Quentin Johnston. We see Jatavion Sanders, Jerome Ford, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins. Ezekiel Elliott in the 14th round could be a really good value too, considering that Dallas didn't do anything to bolster up that offense. Then we see Baker, we see Hopkins, Kraft, Algier, and now I am up. And yeah, here he is, this one. Tontavion Wicks, that's who it was. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go Roshan. I think this will be a pretty good handcuff for DeAndre Swift. And there's one more player I'm going to be looking for. Actually, there's two. There's two I'm seeing that I could be happy with to close out my draft. So let's see my build so far. I don't know, Eddie. What do you think right now? I'm seeing Joe Burrow. So my roster, if you look right over here, got Joe Burrow, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, Puka Shells, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, Xavier Legette, Adonai Mitchell, and Tua Tagovailoa. These are my starters, and then in my bench, got Bryce Young, Dallas Goedert, John Dotson, Malachi Corley, Roshan Johnson. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and follow up this draft real quick. We see Douglas go from the New England Patriots. We see Wicks called it. Look at this guy. A true Packer fan there, Eddie. Not Eddie, I'm sorry, Jesus. Jacoby Myers, Antonio Gibson, Luke Musgrave, and Cole is going to kick off our 15th and final round by getting Tyler Lockett. Okay, we see Keaton Mitchell. Then we see, how do you say his name again? Okonkwo? Damian Pierce. Dang it, that's the one I wanted to get. Shoot. Oh, what I do? Did I mess this up? Oh, let me refresh my page. That's what happened. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm still up. Okay. All right, let's go to the running backs. Oh, let me kill that sound. It's going to bug me. There we go. Oh, actually, is he not there anymore? No, yeah, he should be there. No, he's not. I was looking for the kid from Baltimore, but he isn't there. Do you like Ray Davis? But let me see. I'm not going to overreach for one. Let me close it out and get Gabe Davis. Thinking Joshua Palmer, but I've yet to have a team with Gabe Davis there. But okay, as this is winding down, wanted to give you guys a quick reminder. Let me just go right over here. So, okay, cool. It is done. So this draft is complete. Let me go over this roster. Here's where I ended up at. Thank you everyone for tuning in, of course. But here, let's go see the roster I have so far here. So we see Joe Burrow, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, Xavier Legette, Adonai Mitchell, and Tua Tagovailoa. Of course, and with this build, I get a little concerned about, of course, will Xavier Legette, Adonai Mitchell pan out? So these rookies are unproven. Of course, I'm very excited about Pacheco and Montgomery. They're holding it down at the running back position, considering that both these guys are going to get a lot of usage. And of course, happy with Puka Nacua there. Chris Olave, two proven pieces here. And of course, being I have a tight end premium league, love Mark Andrews there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ignore the CPUs and I'm going to just look at the rosters that actually have players that made picks. So the first one is David. David went with Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Travis Kelce, Michael Pittman Jr., Jalen Warren, and Kirk Cousins. This is a pretty good team. I like how balanced it is. I know Joe Mixon is there in Houston. Also reports about how Dameon Pierce has been looking really good there as well, but I expect Joe Mixon to get some good usage there. Love the Garrett Wilson and Drake London pick as well. Really good players to round out his wide receivers. And of course, I've been a big fan of Michael Pittman Jr. since he came into the league. Good pickup there for him. Let's go ahead and go to Jason. He is the team that is Funds Dead. Let me just make my way down there. Here we go. Oh, he was there. Let me see. Get this thing to work. There we go. Okay. Jason opened up his with he got Jordan Love, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, TJ Hawkinson, Nico Collins. Love that pick with Ricky Pearsall and Drake May. And I did see his bench. Saw Deontay Johnson, Justin Fields, Hunter Henry, Gus Edwards, Demario Douglas, and Tank Bigsby. Okay, let's go ahead and then round it out with Jesus. Jesus got, he's Team Cheese Whiz. There he is. Okay, so he got his Caleb Williams pick first, and then he went with Ramondre Stevenson, Zach Moss, Brandon Ayuk, Zay Flowers as his two wide receivers, Dalton Kincaid, good pickup there at tight end position, Stephon Diggs, Jake Ferguson, and Kyler Murray. The strength in this roster, in my opinion, easily goes at the quarterback position with Kyler Murray. Of course, Caleb Williams too. I know that there was a report today that he struggled with, just passing the ball, but you don't want to put too much stock in these training camp reports. But okay, let's go ahead and go to our last one, and that is Cole. And Cole was our 12th overall pick, and he got Trevor Lawrence, Bijan Robinson, James Conner, Amon St. Brown, DJ Moore, David Njoku, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Jared Goff as his starters. And I like these because of who he has at the wide receiver position with Amon St. Brown and DJ Moore. These guys are going to get a lot of targets, a lot of usage in this offense. I get there's Roman Dunze there in Chicago, as well as Keenan Allen, but I think that DJ Moore is the clear alpha in that locker room, in that wide receiver room. And I also love the Brian Thomas stack with Trevor Lawrence. Really good stuff here by this team. Also love Terry McLaurin to go along with James Conner. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he got JJ McCarthy. And I also love the pickup here with Marshawn Lloyd as well. I think someone who's going to get a lot of usage there as that second running back in that Green Bay offense. So yeah, good stuff here. So guys, thank you for tuning in. And before we go, I wanted to share something really exciting. If you guys have not yet known, I have a new partner, and it's Dad Gang. And Father's Day is just around the corner. This brand is one of my favorite ones of all time. I love wearing their stuff. They have a lot of great deals right now. They just released 2 new hats. And you know what? I'm going to take care of you. You get 15% off when you use the promo code that you see here on the screen. That is Ivan39078 to get 15% off your order. Dad Gang, a gear that it's a brand I love to rock. I think when I see a dad, whenever I see a dad just rocking this gear, I always think, okay, this is a guy who's loud and proud about being a father, someone who not only, of course, embraces the role, but also will embrace it regardless of how hard the road can be. So get your Dad Gang merch today. Thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. Guys, I can't thank you enough for being with me today on this mock draft this evening. As a reminder, if you're watching, please hit that like button, subscribe, and be sure to also continue to follow with the channel as well. Be sure to check out the Discord channel. All that information can be found here in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you guys. And I have so many videos here on the channel, so be sure to check out some of the previous live streams. That way you can continue to get all the information that you need to maximize your fantasy football leagues. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys in the next one.